Welcome to Purpose After Sports, where we interview athletes to share their post sport journeys and explore how they are reinventing what it means to compete. Today, I am super excited about our guest. We convinced Grace to be on with us for her first podcast experience. I have seen her story on social media and just knew immediately I wanted to get her on the podcast and share with you guys some of her layers. I knew I could relate and our audience could as well. So, from her sports background in basketball to what she's doing now in the strength and conditioning world, I think that she's got a lot to share and it's going to be a great conversation. So, Grace, thank you so much for being on with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to get you on. So, I want to take or you to take us back with our audience to when sports started to become a part of your journey.
Totally. So I grew up playing basketball like my whole life, probably like eighth grade and on. So always loved playing in sports. Basketball is where I started playing AAU and I was like, okay, this is my thing. I honestly
Yeah,
always a
yeah.
team sport girl. So I started playing club basketball and I played a little bit of different sports, but I knew basketball was for me. And it taught me so much about like, I had the best AAU coach that was a very big mentor for me. Both of them, my
Yeah.
head coach and assistant coach, very big mentor, and I stayed with them from 8th grade all the way until senior year, and then I got to play at a small Division II school. So I went off to play college basketball, and then I ended up tearing my knee. So sports were like a whole part all the way up into like my dream basketball career. And then my freshman year blew out my knee. And it was definitely a reality check for me to be like, oh, like I'm not Grace and I just play basketball because that was kind of taken away from me. And it really
Yeah.
led me into what I do now because at the time I didn't realize that like I needed an outlet and I got really close to our strength coach in college and it still led me to be a part of that team. So even though I couldn't
Yeah.
might not be my ideal basketball career, I learned a lot about myself through the process and going somewhere so far away and realizing like, oh, what I thought everyone knew me what for, I no longer have. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm going to prove myself in a different way for myself, but also to feel a part of the team. And it led me to then find my career as a sports performance coach now.
When you were, and she's still an athlete, guys. We'll get into some of the stuff that she is still doing. But, deep in your early on athletic career, what kind of athlete were you? Was it more performance driven? I know you said you like the team aspect, but what kind of athlete were you?
As a basketball player, I am 5'6" on a good day. So I have always been I have always been the smallest player. Like it's just something about me. And I don't know if it's like I loved basketball growing up, watching Diane Taurasi in the Mercury. And like I've always been a very scrappy player because I knew I was not the tallest, I was not the biggest. And I was like, you know what, I
Yeah.
will use where I can, and that is my effort. And like leading a team in a different way, even if it's not always on the court. And that kind of led me into more leading positions and having a big voice, but also just leading by action. And like, I love that team, like camaraderie and being scrappy. Like, also just growing up playing, I went to two different high schools. So I've had the private school experience, I have a public school experience, and we were not always the best team, but I was like, I don't care. Like, we're going to be the hardest working one. And
Yeah.
I think both of those experiences of like kind of always changing schools allowed me to be like, okay, well, this is what we have, and this is just focus on this year and
Hmm.
this team, and we'll prove them wrong. And I just kind of have always had that mindset to be the hardest working one, no matter as competitive as I am, like score, game, whatever. I was like, it doesn't matter, we'll outwork them. And that's kind of just been something even before my knee injury of a mindset that I loved about sports and what taught me as like a young woman to like be show by action and like be what being strong meant to me.
So let's fast forward a little bit because I'm sure that aspect came when you were facing that knee injury. Talk to me about when it happened, what it happened, and what were those first couple of months like for you?
Totally. So I actually tore my knee my freshman year. So it was my basketball, it was like January of my freshman year. So season's already kind of started a little bit. I did decide to redshirt this year, tore my knee, ACL, MCL, meniscus. So we just got back from Christmas and I was like, oh, right. I honestly was in denial. Like when it happened, I did not scream. I did not cry. I was like mute. And then the athletic trainer takes me off and is like, oh, I think you definitely tore your ACL and MCL. We didn't even know meniscus yet. And I was like, okay. MRI
Yeah.
blew out all three. And I was like, this is my freshman year in North Dakota and I'm from Arizona. So winter, snow, crutches, living in the dorms. And I was like, this is I also am working under the strength coach. So my
Mm,
freshman year, I'm doing work study. So I'm waking up 5 a.m., crutching to work. And I'm like, this is not my dream of what I thought my college basketball career was gonna be. But
yeah.
I also wouldn't change it. Like it was one of the hardest things I went through, but it taught me so much about myself. And I'm thankful, even though I didn't always have the best relationship with my head coach, I did have people I could lean on, and that was my strength coach at this time. And I think he knew
Yeah.
deep down I needed an outlet, and it really, really led me into training, and working hard in the weight room, which, at the time, like throughout my recovery, it was not easy. Like I took over a year to recover, and even playing after, they were kind of like, "Oh, you'll probably tear it again. You're gonna need a knee replacement. Like you're not gonna be the player you were." And even the assistant coach that was there when I was there, he left. So I'm coming back off an injury and they're like, "You better be the player you were." And thankfully, now through my own training and experience and everything, I'm the strongest I've ever been, no knee pain. But that was something I had to figure out through myself and my own training. And it
Yeah.
it really led me to where I am today.
You dove a little bit about identity with losing that sport involuntarily. Talk to me about what those moments were like when you were learning who Grace is, not athlete Grace.
Totally. I think as a young player who has always been in sports, you do a lot for the team. You do a lot for the team. I've never been an individual that, yes, I have goals. Yes, I'll train, but it's for the goal of the team. And I think I struggled to create goals for myself during that time because I always have this motivation to prove for my coach, prove for my team, prove to be the top spot. And I'll show that. So when that's taken away and I don't have the comfort of my teammates, I don't have the comfort of my coach to show with my action of I belong to be here, it is a reality check to be like, okay, I am Grace. I'm not like, oh, I'm Grace, I'm a basketball player because one day that is going
Yeah.
to end. But when that's been your whole life for 10 years, 10 plus years, you don't know how to choose things for yourself and what that looks like.
Yeah.
Because my mindset has always kind of been for the team, for this coach, for that coach, even my schedule. So when you go to college and you play sports, my schedule is made for me. My classes are chosen
Yeah.
for me as much as you want to say you have a degree. So even when I got my undergrad, I didn't pass my boards. I was like, oh, this isn't really a degree I want to do. And I thought
Yeah.
basketball was everything. And I knew that deep down, um, that I loved sports. I originally was going to be an athletic trainer, physical therapy. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So when I graduated, I was like, oh, everything's a really reality check. I didn't play my last senior year because my experience was not ideal in a way where it felt like I was having a healthy relationship with the sport anymore. And that came down to many things, like
Mm,
many attributes of my relationship with my coach. It wasn't something that was benefiting me, but I knew that deep
yeah.
down because I think it came down to not being the most positive environment, but also I was doing more for others than for myself at that time, and I don't regret that decision. I think it was something that was healthy for me to walk away and not feel like I was giving up on a younger dream, if that makes sense. Like, it was something I thought that I wanted, and I had a great experience for my first 3 years, but when I chose to walk away, it was also COVID year, so honestly, I think it was worth it because to then work all that way to then not play again, it's
Yeah.
it just would have been too much for me, and I still led my team, I'm still close to a lot of those girls, but I think it was the healthiest decision for me, and I think when we're in the sports world, it's always like work ha no one cares, work harder, and I think sometimes it's okay to walk away from something that isn't benefiting you anymore, and you can still
Yeah.
have a healthy relationship with that, but it's kind of frowned upon to be quit in a way, and that was something that was really hard for me to process during that time.
Thank you for opening up about that because a big part why I wanted you on was to talk about your story because it's non-traditional, if I may.
Yeah,
And I love that because you stand by your story, you're strong with what you talk about and how you train now. And it doesn't mean that you quit on it. You had to step away from, a sport that was so big and a huge part of your life, but it still made you into a great person today. And I think a lot of people can be in situations where they're afraid to walk away because of that mindset of,
mhm,
oh, that just means I'm weak. I'm not strong enough. I couldn't do it. And that doesn't mean that all the time at all. Maybe sometimes it's
no.
just not the right fit or not part of your story that you need to continue.
Totally, and even as I grew as that was on my background as a player, and eventually what led me to coach. Yeah, because I was on my undergrad, so as soon as I left undergrad, I went straight into my master's, so I actually didn't pass my boards, and I came back home to Arizona, and I was like, "Well, what do I do?" That was very reality check, like, I'm no longer an athlete, I'm no longer a student, I kind of got a degree in something I knew I didn't wanna do, and
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know anything else. And I've always loved the education side of coaching. So both my parents are teachers. And I was like, deep down, I was like, I'll never be a teacher. But
Yeah.
but yet I coach and I do love to teach because I think my observation through my experience of coaching and playing and being an athlete, I realize, the ones that really care to mentor others. And not every good athlete is a coach. And I think people think like, "Oh, you train. Oh, you're so good at your sport. You'll be a great coach." I know great coaches that have never played basketball. I know great coaches that like same thing on the coaching side. I know great coaches who have no credentials and I know great coaches who have all the credentials. So when I came back home, I ended up I was going to be a GA, but the they didn't have a opportunity at the school I was looking at for the degree I wanted, and ASU opened up, and they had a master's in strength and conditioning, and it was the first in the program, so it was brand new, and I was like, "You know what?
Wow.
I think this is something I wanna do." Like, it led me in my undergrad to really learn how to work out, and from my perspective, if I never played sports, especially as a woman, I would never know how to lift. And this gave me confidence in myself when it was a really low time for me. And I think to one, represent women in sports, but also women who do not play sports was really big for me because no one in my family really like my siblings never played sports, so to be there and teach others about it and what I learned through my experience and having a great strength coach, I was like, this is something I think I could get into. And it was, again, one of the best decisions I think I've done for myself. And at the time, you would ask me, like, whatever, in 2021, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go to get a master's degree. I was like, I didn't even pass my last boards. But I am so thankful to one, like, represent minority women with a master's degree and also to just be a strength coach because now I think it's definitely more represented as women, but at the time when I was in it, it was all men. And somehow I feel like I find myself in those positions a lot to
Yeah.
be in a room with a lot of men and be a strong woman who can educate, and I don't need to explain my credibility of why I need to be in that room.
Grace is speaking. She's speaking to me as well. I so much of your story is just so powerful because the same, like leaving college, and the reason I got into the fitness world is I had such a great strength and conditioning coach my last 2 years, and she's still a mentor in my life today, but that, being, seeing her as a woman in the industry just kicking kicking butts, like just being the best that she could be and such a mentor and such a leader, and, I begged to work for her after I left, and she just helped me along my way, and I was like the same kind of mindset of just wanting to continue to help others, whether it's, former athletes or other people that are getting back into fitness, that is not as
Totally.
complicated, and you deserve to be in that room for whatever reason.
Think about it, I'm like, why was I always so motivated at, like, a young age?
Yeah.
Even in high school, when I transferred to public school, we had a strength coach who was a woman, and she really spent above and beyond for the women's basketball team. And like, you don't see that. Like, I did not go to a nice high school. Like, we were out the mud kids. And I think about that
Yeah.
time, and she really saw that group of community and brought us together. Like, it was always it's bigger than you mindset, and we would have fights. Like, it was a very I've coached high school kids. I coached high school girls basketball when I was getting my master's program for 4 years, and then I did actually intro to weights for high school. So, I was
Mm.
like, if you can coach high school boys, you can do anything. And that was truly a grind. Again, like, not a nice weight room. And
Yeah.
to be a coach with and it was like 14 to 17, like, it was not freshmen. And I'm like, "Okay, like, you
Mm.
guys are not touching the barbell. You're not touching the barbell." And did we get there? Yes. Like, were we testing? Were they lifting heavy weights? Like, that is such a fun developmental age. But it
Yeah.
really stems from what I learned in high school having Coach Rodrigue take us through so much, and it was outside the weight room. It was like, if our team was fighting, she'd be like, "Okay, get your shoes outside, 8 p.m. Like, we're going on the turf." Like, we're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like, and there was just a standard that we had, and it's like those kids at that age need structure. So when was getting my master's in coaching high school, I was like, "You I don't need to put on this front. I can be the fun coach, but you will respect me from the jump and you guys will get on that line." And it's just teaching those
Yeah.
young kids, especially now. I'm not that old. I'm 27. I don't think I'm that old. But when I was coaching high school, they they were like, "Coach G, you're out of the loop." And it's interesting for me to see the lack of confidence in that
Yeah.
generation. They are so scared. They are so intimidated by probably social media and all these things that there is this lack of effort, this grit, this embarrassment at that age. And
Yes.
when I look back at myself, I had so much confidence in high school. Like, my athlete side in high school, I had no fear. No fear. I was like, we're the
Mhm.
underdogs. We're winning. Like, what do you mean? And when I think of
Yeah.
my college self playing, I lost so much confidence because I'm in a new state. I'm in a new environment. I'm a new team. I'm not the best on the team anymore. I I lost everything I've had. I went from being probably my peak freshman year, gaining 15 pounds of muscle, to losing everything and being lighter than I was in high school. So having all of that, like, physical side taken away from me and then coming back and it's like, "Oh, actually you tore your knee and you have a new coach." Like, my
Yeah.
identity was so gone in where my, like, love for basketball started, of just being like, I really love this sport and I love everything that it has taught me with it, to being injured and taking all those things what stem from me to then proving myself to others. And I think that's where I was taught at a young age, which not everyone has those mentors. Not everyone has those coaches. And I was blessed to have Coach Rodrigue and have Coach Nesby of my AAU team really teach me those things. And I also stayed on those teams. Like, I'm still coach close with my AU coach. Like he came to my last High Rocks event and surprised me. And even my assistant coach flew out to my master's when I graduated. Like I'm still they're like my family. So really
Yeah.
cool.
No. I think those people in your story are amazing, and I hope that everybody gets those people, you know, whether it's one or you are lucky enough to have more than one because they do, you could have the worst on the worst happen, and then you just get that light of somebody, and you're like,
Totally.
"Okay," and they steer you in a direction where you're just like, "I had no idea this was where my life was gonna go, but thank goodness."
But and I think for so long I didn't feel like I had that. Like, when like, I thought I think I had that at a very young age, like, having the support, one, from both my parents, having my high school strength coach, and then having my AU team, like, I had the best from the jump. So when I went to college,
Yeah,
my freshman year, I was not close with my teammates. I did tear my knee and I had no one. Like, I felt very, very isolated,
yeah,
and, I'm thankful that for that because as I grew on that team and I had players come in, like, shout out Lexi, like, I'm still close with her, I just was with her in Miami doing High Rocks, and I'm like, this was one of my teammates where I got to see it grow through her, and, like, as I was the older player and I was hosting all the freshmen, like, I was like, "You know what? Even if I didn't have that, I wanna change that standard for this team," and even if my
yeah,
experience wasn't something that was the best. I can tell how it's developed over time, and even we always, like, will laugh over our experiences. We're like, "What did we go through?" But her experience, she crushed it and was
yes.
player of the year after, and had a completely different experience, but we definitely bond over those beginning times of being like, "What is this dynamic that we kind of came into?" And I think that was also a reality check for me because I never had a team environment where there wasn't that much structure and a lot of things slid around. Like, I never thought I would be kind of more of an adult where I felt like I was isolated, almost got, like, bullied by my teammates, and I'm like, "We're, like, too grown for this." But people could experience
Yeah,
that in different times, and I think when you're a young kid and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna play college basketball, it's gonna be my dream. I get the scholarship, I get this." And for me, it definitely wasn't that that perfect experience, but it taught me a lot through it.
no, and you being so candid about it because I think with going like you said, the dream of playing in college and there's a lot of hype, but you even sprinkled in that there are times, no matter how much you love that sport, where it's gonna go down, where you're gonna look
Yeah,
at you're gonna be in the trenches, you're gonna be like, "What am I doing? Like, why would
yeah,
I do this?" I could be sitting at home, I could be but I'm up at
yeah.
5 AM.
Ev
Like
every day rise and grind, and on an injury. And even for myself, like, people are like, "You're from Arizona and you went to North Dakota." Yes. And
yeah,
unfortunately, God had other plans because honestly, I really do think I would have I really thought I would have left my first semester. Like, I was crying. It's every freshman year experience.
yeah,
I was like, this is terrible. I hate it. To then second semester, tear my knee. I have no choice but to stay. I
yeah,
have a full year recovery. I got surgery out there. I had PTs. I had this. I had no other option. And I think about it and I'm like, I could have came home, not gone to school, got surgery here. But for whatever
mhm,
reason, it aligned for me to do all of that out there and then have a full recovery. I have to say, we didn't have the transfer portal then. Like, there was no other
yeah,
option for me. And I needed to be away from home. I think I don't regret it. Like, I could have stayed here, could have gone to JUCO, could have gone somewhere else, and it was something I needed to grow up and figure out for myself. I think if I was too close, I would have had too much support, and it was something that I needed to go through and kind of be alone because I've never really been in that situation. Even as an athlete, you kind of always have support, and
yeah,
even though I was not close with my teammates, majority of them, you tend to have to kind of people please. Like, you have to people please in a way of like, I'm trying to prove this to my coach. I might not like these people or get along with them, but I have to get along with them on the court. And
yeah,
they're passing you the ball. Like, I didn't play an individual sport. So,
Yeah.
it was definitely a reality check to then leave sports and learn to choose these things. Like, I get to choose relationships in my life. I get to choose friendships. I have to choose boundaries that I didn't have to have because
Yeah.
I had to be the people pleaser, and I think that was kind of a theme in my life. I was like, "Well, I'm the leader. I bring everyone together. I have to do this," and it was this, like, pressure I put on myself. I have to work harder than everyone else. I got an injury,
Mhm.
who cares? Oh, I quit basketball, everyone knows me for that. Okay, well, work harder, like, like, it's just always this athlete mindset that it's like, the grind doesn't stop, but I think
Yeah.
there has to be like you said, it is a roller coaster and there has to be a healthy boundary of like, you can do both. Like, you can enjoy your life and you can have boundaries and be the hardest working person in the room outside of your sport.
Yeah. No, you're speaking my language because when we talk about the loneliness error and like you finding a little bit in your sport and when I first stopped in the sports, that was the part I was too afraid to admit. Like,
Yeah.
you'd get home from a work day, and I worked in a different setting right out of college, but and I was alone, and it was weird because I didn't know how to explain it to somebody. But you're with your teammates 24/7, like you said, whether you like it or not, like 24/7 until
Yeah.
you're resting your head,
Yep.
and then you get out of that setting, and then you have all this alone time, whether and you can fill those gaps with how you want and what
Mhm.
if you're in a situation where you're not surrounded by loved ones and things like that, where it's this shift where it's this freedom high, but also it's like the loneliest you've ever felt in the same sense. And it's so hard
Yeah.
to explain. So, Grace, talk to me a little bit about what you're doing now, how you got into the strength and conditioning world and the high rocks world, which has been blowing
Totally.
up the past couple of years.
Okay, so since I graduated, I got my master's in strength conditioning. I had kind of waves with my training post college basketball. So I learned those 4 years training. I loved it, but then there was parts of it I was like, "This isn't really how I wanna train." I learned
Yeah,
different things of being very high intensity, and we used to do cleans and pull-ups every day, and so for a second, I was like, "No, I don't wanna be doing cleans every
right.
day." And then just kind of playing around with my own training and realizing like, "Oh, I have the choice to train how I want." And that was a reality check for me because even in school, when you're getting your master's, you're doing a lot of different programs that your coaches wanna do, your teachers wanna do, your interns wanna do. Um, and I just kind of fell in love with, 1, being strong and the confidence that came with it, but 2, kind of figuring out through my own experience what made me feel strong. So, since I tore my knee, I was really scared to squat, like, really scared to do movements that I was very strong in before my injury, and
Yeah,
I had a lot of people say different things of, "It's not gonna be the same, you're gonna need a knee replacement." I was just kind of like, "Okay," and I really took everything I've learned through all my experience, but also through my own work, like, under the barbell, under training, and I'm the strongest I've been. Like, I never if you woulda asked me, I tore my knee in 2018, that I could be running a high rocks 5 miles last weekend, lifting the men's weight, I literally would not believe you. I would be like, "You're a
yeah,
joke." Like, that's part of the reason why I did quit as well my last year because I was in so much pain. I was playing, I was
yeah,
practicing. There was many aspects to it, but part of it was, like, my knee, I was like, "I'm scared to re-tear this again," and they basically told me I probably would, with
yeah.
the level of playing that I was, and to then now have no knee pain is so crazy to me because people will always say those things with injuries of, "You can't do this," and I have one person tell me I can't, especially a man, I'm gonna do it.
Imma do it.
I'm gonna do it every time, like, I just really thrive in those environments of being able to choose something for myself. A little bit is to prove other people, but it's more for
Yeah,
myself, and that's where that motivation, stems from, and I think that's why I have been so consistent with it to this day is because 1, I'm doing it for myself. 2, I have, like, boundaries within it. Like, am I all or nothing? Am I so competitive? Do I like to talk my shit? Yes. But
yeah,
I also train the way I want to, and I think I finally have a healthy relationship with giving my body grace and allowing
Mm,
myself rest, which was something I never had, and I think I was just constantly this burnout, right? We see it with sports, we see it with athletes, and I think I got to that point which led me to walk away from it, and I couldn't be
yeah,
around it. I couldn't be around it. I didn't wanna play basketball. My friends would play women's league. I'm like, I need to step away for a little bit, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, and it's hard to describe because it was something you once loved and, like, younger me loved to then become this, like, negative, toxic environment for me that it wasn't fun anymore, and
yeah,
led me to coaching it and kind of realize, like, this is what I wanted for younger me or college me and what led me to coach and to be able to mentor those high school girls and be like, especially as a woman, because I have had great male coaches. I have also had good women coaches. I have also had a little bit less from that environment as a female mentor.
mm,
I don't know what that dynamic has been. I've had great, like Coach Liz, my AAU coach, one of my she's like my mother still to this day. But
yeah,
I kind of had a wound there with women coaches and it didn't feel like a safe space for me, and even some male coaches, but to be able to mentor high school kids, that is a very developmental age. So, even my own experience as a coach and coaching with some other people, I don't think they realize the impact you have on those kids at those age. Like, it's so much bigger than basketball, and I trust me,
yeah.
I had the worst team. I had the worst team. When I started my first game, I was like, "I don't know if I can do this. We're terrible." And I was like, "You know what? Uh, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out." As someone who's so competitive and seeing that environment of those kids be a different generation and a different mindset, I was like, "You what do you mean you guys aren't gonna go shoot at the park? Like, it's just different. These kids are working,
Yes.
these kids are" like, I didn't have that option. I had support from my family to be like, we're gonna make basketball happen." And I wasn't on the best team. We didn't have the funds to play on this AAU team, get the exposure. Like, I had support from my AAU coaches. They drove me. They did this. Like, my parents weren't traveling with me. I didn't have that. And so when I coached on the other side, I was like, I can make this out of nothing. Like, we didn't have the weight room. We'll go outside on the turf. Like, there is a way you can do things. And I think at the end of the day, if you are a good coach, you're there for more than just the sport. You're there to teach them things, especially at that young age. It's because you care and you wanna help them, and you have a drive about you. So why not invest into that to those kids? And whether that's college, high school, whatever, athletics, strength coach. And so I think that gave me a perspective, athletics, to be like, what do I want for myself to, 1, feel better, to it's always been an internal drive. Yes, you get benefits of other like, there's nothing wrong with aesthetic goals. I think that's also something that's not talked about. Everyone says, "Oh, it's for performance." You can have both and you can achieve both, but I think at the end of the day, I want to feel strong, look strong, have confidence, but you can eat what you want. You can have balance in your training. You don't have to kill yourself to achieve that. And I think that's where people mess it up is it's so black and white. It's so you have to train every day. You have to be so strict on these things. And for me, I think I've been so consistent with it because I enjoy all of it. And I
Yeah,
actually have more grace with myself in having rest and eating what I want and not having such strict boundaries on it, which has led me to enjoy it and have that healthy relationship with training, with food. Like, I'm thankful, especially as a woman, to say that I have never really had an unhealthy relationship with food, and I don't think a lot of people can say that. And I think as well, it's just changing and reframing that mindset. Like, this is to fuel my body to do a lot of strong things. It's been a journey, so I'm thankful to have a healthy relationship with training, with nutrition, and love what I do, and also be able to coach others through that. In terms of how that led me to High Rocks, I love competition. Like, I wanted to get back in that environment, but also I think it's the community of it that's done very well, like, especially for adults. So it's like for those that haven't trained in sports, it gives people a sense of community and a sense of team where it's like we're all coming together for one thing. And I think it's a very achievable goal. So we have all these like extreme, like it's not an Ironman, it's not a half marathon. I am a very mid runner. And I will say that I'm competitive to talk my shit in a lot of things. Running is not one of them. And especially with my knee, I was like, "Ain't no way I can do this." And
Yeah.
I actually did my first high rocks with someone I met once. This is like a common theme, honestly. We'll get into it. But I literally met one of my friends who she's a D1 soccer player. I love her, Sandy. I met her through a friend of a friend, and she reached out to me and was like, "Do you wanna do High Rocks?" And I was like, "Of course, like, let's do it. We're gonna crush it." And
Yeah.
just 2 ex-athletes who love competition and, are strong and just really, like, see excuse me, they love to train for something bigger than themselves. I think that's
Yeah.
something we were aligned on. I had not a doubt in my head that we could do it, but I couldn't have picked a better partner because she was definitely stronger in the runs, and I needed motivation there because that's not really something I think I could have gotten into if I didn't do it with others. And
Yeah.
I think High Rocks, the reason it's so, popular and it's blowing up is because it is achievable. I think it's enough where you're pushing yourself and it is very difficult, but it's not too out of reach where it's this insane amount of volume that people think they can't train for. And I competed in Anaheim with her about, like, almost 2 years ago before it was, like, super big, and it was one of
Mhm.
the hardest things I've trained for with a different mindset as an adult. Like, I wasn't training for, like, younger Grace as an athlete. It was something that I chose to do now, and it's a different process that feels so similar to that, but
Yeah.
it was something I chose to do on top of everything else, and I think the environment is what's very refreshing to see because it's not just an elite status. It's not just one team. There is a wide range of people. There are runners, there are strength side, there's women, there's men, there's like all ages. And I think for me, especially as a coach, like I'm not always motivated by the strongest person in the room. Yes, I am at times, but to me, if you're having someone that just started running, what is my excuse? I just did high
Right.
rocks with my friend who was 3 months pregnant. What is my excuse about running? She's out here running every day, pushing her 2 daughters in a stroller. Sometimes I meet up with her and I
Mhm.
push one of her other daughters in the stroller, and I'm still a worse runner than her. And we'll go to the run club. Like, it's just I have a very great circle of people who are motivated, and I think you will attract that community because even post sports, I was scared to I didn't have that. I was kind of the person that was friends with everyone, and
Mm.
you will weed out the people that are not in the same mindset as you, and same thing with the mentors. I think anyone who is above you will always want the best for you. And you will find those people. And it took me a journey. I coach with people I did not align with. I coach basketball with people I
Mhm.
did not align with, and it won't work. You can work through it and try to build the team that you want or but it takes a journey to realize kinda the identity you want as a coach, and
Yeah.
it comes through experience, and I think I had to learn that because I kinda didn't have my voice, and I was like, I'm too new at this, I have to earn my way," and I think that's taught a lot in sports as well. It's like you have to earn your way to the top, you have to earn your credits, you have to work from the ground up. And so when I got into this field, I kind of was like, "Oh, well, I'm a new coach. I don't know what I'm doing. I have to learn from them. I have to earn my stripes," or whatever you want to say. And I think now I am very strong in what I want to represent as a coach, and I don't have to explain that with anyone. Like the athletes will come to me, my clients will come to me, and if you want to work, you'll understand where I'm coming from and you'll see the bigger picture.
Yeah. No, I think that's beautiful. I We are an official High Rocks gym that I coach at,
Nice.
and the community is next level. Like you said, though, we have
Yeah,
former athletes in there. We have people that just want something to, new and things like that. Like it brings so many different people together.
totally.
But the community is next level. And so I love just popping in here and there. But you're inspiring me. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I can't do it.
No,
There's things
trust.
I don't
I, as an
I don't know.
ACL girl, I was like, I literally would never think I could be able to, 1, run without knee pain, but 2, I think
Yeah.
it's the balance between you have to strength train, like, it's the balance between strength and conditioning where
Yeah.
you can see those results and doing that single leg work, like, I truly never thought I would be here. I still kind of hate running a little bit, but to me, as a team sport girl, it is
Yeah.
something that gives that opportunity because you can do a relay, you can do a duos. Like I trained my when I've done 3 High Rocks races now. My first one was Anaheim. I did Phoenix last February, and then I just did Miami last week. And when after I did Anaheim, my parents came and I trained my dad to do High Rocks. And my dad's 65. So he has never lifted lower body a day in his life. He
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I would say he's strong, but not athletic. Like, it's just the man
Mm.
strength, where he
Yeah,
loves to
yeah.
do yard work, like, but his well-rounded of, like, mobility strength, not there. Like, that man benches in his garage every day, and that's it. And he decided to do high rocks with his neighbor, his best friend. And they were both 64. He's 65 now. And I was like, "If we're gonna do this, you have to listen to me because I don't want you to get hurt."
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, it's so cute you train your dad." I wanted to shave my head at times training this man. It was a journey. It was a journey. And that's something that related with a lot of my audience as well and what I didn't think would blow up, but I think because it was so relatable that he didn't have a background as an athlete. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't well-rounded. This man couldn't lunge. And I was like, "We're doing 100 meters of lunges knee to the floor." And
Mhm.
we got there, and we got there in 7 weeks. I think they trained maybe 6 weeks, and they did it fine, no injuries. They did not walk. They did not push pace. They did their best, but they didn't walk, and they did their
Yeah.
best, and they would do it again. They wanna train for next year, and to be able to see that, I think me as a coach 5 years ago, I was like, "I don't know if I could do that." And I was like, "Oh, no, we'll be just fine." I had full confidence, a little scared
Yeah.
on the lunges a little bit. I was like, "That's the one I need some work." But that's the beauty with duos is someone can pick up where you might not be the strongest at, and
Yeah.
that's where it was really cool to see because I'm like, "What's my excuse for training? I just trained my dad to do this, and they loved it. They loved every part of it." And they
Mhm.
were like for them, they were like, "The runs are the easiest part." And I'm like, "You guys are crazy."
Right.
Like, that's where I was fighting for my life. Like, I'm still learning to run.
Dude. Okay, can we talk about if you're able I think one of your big pieces of your story that you've been willing to share on the internet is training your dad for high rocks, and you've opened up a little bit about him having a stroke, and what was that like seeing somebody you care so deeply about go through something like that, and then again, like you said, saying I want to get in the fitness world, and you being able to help them in that way.
Yeah. My dad had like a TIA stroke probably 3 years ago, and
Hmm.
as someone who was always my parents are both pretty healthy, and, like, I grew up around a lot of health, nutrition, supporting my journey in sports, so to see that, it was honestly a shock. It wasn't something that was, like, predisposed in their health. So, I was also working at the gym at the time when I got the call and that my mom's like, "Your dad's on the way to the hospital, like, don't freak out." And I was like, out of everyone, it was just we didn't think it would be him. And
Yeah.
it came down to a lot more of, like, stress and kind of burnout in a way, and I think it was a reality check for him to be like, "I need to slow down and take care of my health." And that was something like that man's never tired a day in his life. He will
Yeah.
outwork anyone, do anything, like, he provides so much for my family, and for him to realize, like, "I need to prioritize this," it was something he didn't know how much time that would take to invest, and it is those baby steps. And
Yeah.
so even with High Rocks, I think he needed a goal to have so that he could be consistent, just like we were as athletes, because he was a great athlete when he was young. But now it's like work and family is his motivation. And I think for him, he was like, him seeing me compete motivated him. And he also has a amazing confidence. I wish I had half the confidence that man has, because when he watched me compete in Anaheim, he was like, I could do it. I could do it. And I'm like, you don't even really work out. Um, but I think just seeing me compete, but also the wide range of people compete inspired him to kind of have a goal to prove to himself and to
Yeah.
give him a reason to prioritize that time to build his strength back up, because he knew he had to train his heart. He knew what the doctors were saying and how to incorporate that. And he knew that he had support from me to not be scared, because I knew he was scared training. Like, he was scared to push his heart rate up, pull it back down, and just learn what that kind of new reality looked like. So it did take
Yeah.
some time. It was not a quick turnaround. It was not like this 0 to 100, oh my gosh, I'm this star athlete after. Like, we had to get over some hurdles that were definitely a realization for him, and an ego, and realize, like, we care about taking care of your body and mobility and strength, and it's a well-rounded thing that I think for him, and he would say it too, like, as a man, it was just something that one wasn't really taught. And
Mm.
I think that is something that inspired a lot of people, because I feel like as women, it's a little bit more normalized for us to take classes and learn this. But for him, it's like he was really never taught how to lift, especially not his
Mm.
generation. It was just like you're you're gonna bench and do what you did, what everyone else was doing, or bodybuilding, or whatever the trend was. And so to be able to educate my dad and support him, but also
Yeah.
coach him. And I was his coach. I was not his daughter in those moments. I mean, sometimes, but it was a different side to our relationship that really helped us grow. And I'm just so thankful for that, because it inspired my mom as well. And I never thought, going the traditional route of, like, I got my master's in strength and conditioning. I have my CSCS. I thought my dream career was to work as a college strength coach. And I love working with Gen Pop. I love working with adults. I have pregnant clients. I have postpartum. I have youth athletics. I have
Yeah.
like a mom, just a regular mom that might not have a specific goal and just wants well rounded strength. I have people that have never lifted before. I trained my sister who's never played sports. And I genuinely love that wide range of clientele, because I think it was something that was never taught for them, and I can give them that. If they wanna train super hard and lift heavy, I can do that. But I think it's
Yeah.
the realistic approach, um, to build that foundation is what I love, is I can take nothing and we can build it to that performance side, which I love, and teach them that it's not scary and you can learn how to jump and how this benefits you. Because I will have clients and they're like, "I'm not jumping." And I'm like, "Yes, we are. I'm gonna teach you." And
On the workout.
there's I'm like, "You have no choice." But it's this education side that they're like, "Oh, that is important for more than just my health and my bone density and all these things that people aren't aware of." You can jump at I taught my mom how to jump at 64 as I'm teaching my youth athletic clients that are 17. And
Right.
it's like we all can benefit from it, but I think it it was so fun to see me just training my dad. To me, I was like, I posted it in terms to never that people would like love this kind of like content. And
Yeah.
that surprisingly, that's like the stuff that did the best. And I think it was just so realistic to see people who aren't the most athletic. Like, I love an aesthetic, like athlete grind video. I love to lift heavy. That's something I love. I know that might not relate to everyone, but to also train people who don't have that training experience
Mhm.
and to start from nothing, I think that's very motivational and gives people something to relate to be like, "You know what? I was never taught how to jump." Teaching both my parents how to jump, I was like, "They probably actually were never taught how to do this, how to land, how to actually do movements that they were, like, expected to do or see me
Yeah.
do, and they're probably like, "Oh my gosh, like, she had so much training and had opportunities to learn these things." So, it's been really fun to teach them things that they probably never thought they could do.
I'm sure you get some type of uh, good feeling inside, whether it's the same of being in athletics or not. But getting to see people accomplish goals that you had a part in is just
Mhm.
amazing, and you
Yeah.
can leave at the end of your day. And I'm sure in this industry, in the industry you're in, it's a lot of late nights, early mornings, crazy hours,
Yeah,
but it gives you that feeling when you go to sleep at night of like I'm helping people.
totally, and that's at the end of the day, I'm like, I am so blessed to be in a career where it's like I truly love my job and I truly love to help others because like you said, as a business owner for myself, like I thought I was going to do the college grind. I thought I was going to have the set schedule. I thought I was going to have this and to now kind of have the flexibility and freedom that I really never had in my schedule as an athlete
Hmm.
to build a business of something that I truly want to represent because I kind of always still did it for others. Like, I wanna do it for the team, and I loved those experiences. Like, I was a college or I worked at a JUCO as a strength coach. One of the best experiences I did for a semester, and
Yeah.
but there was always a part of me deep down that it's like, I would do it this way, or I would take this from them, and I still would wanna do something my way. So to be
Mm,
able to fully, like, believe in that and have confidence in what I wanna do as a business and what I wanna do as a coach and be able to grow in that the past 2 years has been so amazing, and I truly believe, like, when you step into that, you will attract the opportunities that align with you, and it's just been so cool to see because, like I said, me 2 years ago, I would have never done a High Rocks, and now I'm getting, like, invited to have these opportunities. I'm like, "What
yeah.
is my life?" Like, I can't even imagine, and then I got to do one last weekend, and my best friend who was my teammate I was sophomore, she was a freshman, is there to support me, and, like, it's just so full circle, the whole experience, and I don't take it for granted e every day.
If you guys haven't seen, you need to check out her social media of the last High Rock she's referring to because
There's a lot of
listen,
tea.
you're braver than me. You're braver than me.
There's a lot of tea.
Mhm.
Even through my experience, like, I have had a lot of opportunities, even the hybrid community, so, like, I
Yeah.
I have been in a private gym the past 2 years, and I added on a hybrid class, and I'm like, "Do I even have the credibility to do this?" Like, yes, I've done high rocks once, but it was something that I was like, I've had experience doing this. This is what I wish I would have learned. And the people,
Mm,
I could teach people that and I could be honest about that. I'm like, am I the top time? Am I the best runner? No, but this is what I wish I would have learned my first high rocks. And I kind of built a community within that. And it was like my own team. It was my own team
yeah.
to teach others. You know, I have people that come in are way stronger runners than me. And that's cool for me. I'm learning from them and I'm learning through my own experience doing these races. And I am just amazed at that community because it's like I built up a class and something new in my gym. And to see myself get invited to other opportunities with that community is just so cool. And I think it's just comes down to people that really want to work hard and your community will find you, whether that is running, whether that is lifting heavy, whether that's a little bit of both. You'll
Yeah.
find those people that will support you, and it's like great minds think alike, you know? So I am thankful for that opportunity because building that experience and networking, like, I'm like, those that's my team. Those are my dogs. Like, we are trauma bonded in a different way as adults.
Yeah.
So when they reached out to me, or like I basically was reached out to by Surf because they saw I had a hybrid community. They saw I coach. They saw I'm a coach in Phoenix, and they were like, "You seem very established here." So when they came to High Rocks Phoenix, they reached out to me, and I was like, "This seems like a great opportunity. Why would I not take it?" And
Yeah.
then now that has gotten a lot of exposure. And same thing. Like I've met such great people, such good coaches, and it's just it keeps rolling. I'm like, I have to keep running. Somehow I'm still doing this. And I am enjoying it. And you would have asked me 2 years ago, I would say I still hate running. And to me, I was
Yeah.
like, I love the grind. I think it's people get all these PRs and lift so heavy. Like, it's not always a PR. Not every race is going to be a PR. But I think
Yeah.
what you enjoy is, for me, is like, one, have no knee pain. Two, I would have never believed that I could run longer than 3 minutes in my life because it was just a different style of training I've never done. And
Yeah.
I'm just basketball, like, I'm just power and strength, and I'm like, "Well, why not try?" Like, is it a grind and is it new? Yes, but it's just it's so fun to learn something about yourself through the process and be able to be like, "Well, 2 years ago, I could run for 3 minutes, and now I'm doing a high rocks." Like, it's a journey, but I think, especially because of social media, all we see is, like, that finish line. All we see is those race times. All we compare is everyone's getting sub 110, 105. I don't care what your race time is, you're still doing it. You're still
Yeah.
doing it, and so many people wouldn't even try, and so I think when I shifted that mindset to be like, "Well, I'm just gonna do my best and also have fun with it," it has been an enjoyable experience for me every time, and that was something I didn't have. I would get so emotionally invested as a younger athlete to the outcome,
Yeah.
to the wins and losses, to my performance. Like, my success was so tied to my performance. And as you grow as an athlete, it's so much bigger than that. It's about the journey. It's about what, like, do I love a win? Do I love a race? Do I love a competition? Yes.
Mhm.
Am I winning? Yes. But
Mhm.
it's really about that grind in between where you find out the most about yourself.
Whew. We might have to drop in the podcast right there. I tell you, it's
Done.
the grind, the journey.
It is, and that's what will take you far, and I think people that's where the burnout is in having this aesthetic goal or having this race time or having this summer goal body T, like, nothing's wrong with that. That is fine, but I
Yeah.
think that is where people will be inconsistent is because it's just for one thing. Like, you have to dig a little bit deeper and set intentional goals for you with that outside goal, with that external goal, and that is what is gonna be consistent and where you won't fall off because why do you want that goal? It's deeper than that, and I think you have to kind of tap into that mindset, and that is what will take you further than that race or that goal.
I like how you talked about that because yes, it's important, and I'm sure you go through this kind of stuff with your clients is you give me your goals, yes, but why? Why do you have those goals? And sometimes it is just because that, but a lot of times there's stuff we can dive into deeper that can help you either reach that goal or we can dive into what's really going on. So,
Yeah, it usually
I don't
always
know.
stems from something deeper, but and sometimes
Mm.
they won't even know what that is. They won't even
Yes.
know what that is, and it's just kind of chipping away at honestly building that trust because a lot of those people are coming in and they don't know what they want. They don't know what they want for
Mhm.
themselves, and it might stem with a physical goal. It might stem with um a race goal. And that's where they need to start and it's through that process where they're kind of like why am I doing this for myself? And maybe it is for others
Mhm.
a little bit. And a lot of times I
Yeah.
see people come in for other people motivating them, but they'll find their group, they'll find their support with others, but also within themselves to kind of give a reality check. And it's like, why do I want to prioritize this for me? And what is that going to look like?
Absolutely. Okay, we got a fast break segment. So these are rapid fire
Okay.
questions that no
No.
thought, you just have to say.
Good luck.
Okay,
Okay.
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 All right. First question is your favorite workout right now?
Strength work still. Like heavy strength work. I'm tapping into conditioning work a little bit, but I would say like love a heavy RDL, hot take, love a Bulgarian split squat. I give me the strength work.
Mm, I can't comment on these answers, but hear you. Least favorite movement in high rocks?
Running. That's not a movement, but it is running. Running
Uh,
or sled pull, I would say.
you would rather a burpee? That's
I
what's
w
really getting me.
no, and that's the thing is I would rather jump than run. Like, I would do the burpees. I would do the full length of burpees over running.
Those two are close for me, but getting
Yeah.
we gotta talk
But I
after
think
this.
it's
All
like
right.
the basketball jumping grind. I don't know.
You're probably right. All right. One thing you do daily that keeps you grounded.
That's a long one. Um, I think just setting intentional time with myself and not rushing, reminding myself to like be present and like be intentional, whether that's my morning, whether that's my night. Because I'm someone that's go, go, go. So to be like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna rush my morning routine. I'm gonna set time for today. That's like something that keeps me where my feet are.
good answer. Something people wouldn't expect about you.
Wait, what? Okay, what would people not expect about me?
Yes.
That I don't like to run because I do all these high rocks, but I still don't like to run, you guys.
No, I think that's good. I think that's probably what I would have said about you. Not that this is about me, but like
Yeah.
either that or if you didn't do research about your knee injury because you
Well,
do
yeah, I
all
would
this
say
stuff.
true, true, true. I'd be like, probably that people didn't expect that I would have an injury, or honestly, people expected that I didn't really play college sports. I think people think of me as like, "Oh, you were an athlete. Oh, you were a coach." Like, they hear one part of my story and is like, "Oh, I played college sports," but I really was not. I was a college athlete, but I didn't have the ideal experience everyone thought. So I
Hmm.
think either that I did have an injury and that that wasn't my peak of my career.
Mm, most of that. Okay. Advice you'd give to your younger athlete self.
Um, I would say keep doing things for you and don't try to prove things for other people.
What currently challenges you the most?
I would say I would say rest in terms of, like, I'm always chasing more, and I think that
Mm,
it's fine to have a goal and it's fine to have a race, like, I'm really into training for something right now, but also just b like you said, kind of being present and allowing myself to not always chase the next thing and be, like,
great answer.
content with yeah, just being content with where I'm at and having, like it's having a goal, but also being content with where I'm at.
All right. Last question for you. What's one word that describes you right now?
Let's see. I was gonna say strong, but that's so lame. Like, that's so whatever. I would say a word to describe me right now. Um, let's see. I would say curious because I think I'm in a new phase of just always trying new things. Like, I'm very obsessed with pushing myself outside of my comfort zone right now and
Mm,
enjoying the process of it. And I'm curious about training, I'm curious about opportunities, just kind of having that childlike mindset of being curious for what's next and not really like worrying about anything else, just being present and being curious for what's to come.
love. Love, love, love. Okay, Grace, do you have anything for our audience before I close out? We're grateful to have you
We're
on.
great. No, I'm grateful to be here. Honestly, I'm just thankful because I feel like this is so aligned with myself. Like when you reached out to me, I was like, this is something I feel like younger me would have wanted. And it felt so aligned to one, be my first podcast, and two, just to be a part of, to use my voice. And I'm just here to represent the women. So what better than a women owned podcast? And especially around sports, because I feel like that's so much a part of my journey, and I'm
Yeah.
just thankful for the opportunity.
Well, we're thankful that you answered us back and keep sharing your stuff because it definitely has I'm so glad it came up onto my feed and I know other women, other athletes are feel the same way because what you speak is probably what half of us are thinking. We're like, she's saying it. So
Someone's
keep
gotta
doing your
say
thing.
it. Someone's gotta
Someone's
say
got
it,
to say
and
it.
I'm happy to do so, and yeah, I'm just excited for what's next for you, and same thing, girl, keep up your content because people see it, and I know the grind starting out, it's a lonely grind, and it's something you do for yourself, but more for others, and, you gotta keep pushing, so you're doing great.
You're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing great. No notes, period.
All right, Grace, we appreciate you so much for coming on and sharing your story or part of your story with our audience. It resonated with me, and I know it will with them as well. So, if you guys love this episode, please like, share, and send to somebody you know that could hear it. And we will be back. Thank you.
We'll be back. We'll be back, part 2. Who knows?